Hi campers! It's July, which means it's summer! Yay! Now we get to enjoy all the lovely weather and the time outside. To celebrate the fact that it's summer, we're going to do a bunch of summer-themed crafts this month, and we're going to start it off with some sun crafts.
For this craft, you will need
a paper plate, yellow string or yarn, yellow paint and a paintbrush, yellow glitter is optional, and scissors. This craft can also be modified to be done without the string. We'll start with our plate and scissors, and we're going to go around and cut little triangles into the paper plate all the way around. So you'll start by going to the edge of the paper plate, and instead of cutting straight in, cut in on an angle, just to where the edge of that lip is before the paper plate goes down. And then basically you're going to do the same thing but from the other side, going in towards the edge of that cut. And then you've cut out a triangular shape, and you're going to do the same thing from the side, make another indent. So at that point, go in on an angle, and then from the other side, go in at the same angle. And you'll see that it creates outward pointing triangles. And we're going to do this all the way around. From here, we're going to go with our scissors again, and then at that corner of each indent that we cut, you're going to cut straight in, and just, a little slit. It doesn't have to go very far, but just cut straight in from every single one of those points, all the way around. Once you've finished all the cutting, we're ready to paint. And you're going to paint the whole thing yellow. Then, right after I've finished painting, if I want to add sparkles, I'm going to do it now and sprinkle them in while the paint is still wet. Then, wait for it to dry. If you're going to do the craft without the string, then this is it. This is your final product, a lovely, beautiful sun. Or if you have yellow string and would like to add an extra little detail and an element of depth, then you can go ahead and do that too. To add the string, you're going to start by tying a knot in the end of your string. I'm not even going to cut a piece of string because this is going to use a whole bunch, but I don't know the exact length, so I'm just going to kind of let it keep unwinding from my ball and cut it at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot at the end of my string, maybe even a double knot just to make it nice and big, make sure it holds. And then I'm going to slide it through one of the slits between my spikes all the way around the edge and make sure that the knot is underneath the plate. So instead of it being over top, I want the knot to go on the bottom, underneath, and then slide that string into one of those slits between the spikes. Right, so those little parts I cut in, it's going to go in there. And now that knot should keep it from being pulled through. And from here, you're just going to wrap it back and forth across the sun. So I'm going to pull it to an opposite point, somewhere kind of on the other side of the sun, and then into one of the slits. Then I'm going to wrap it around and bring it back up on the other side, but instead of coming out the exact same hole, I'll go one or two slits over. And then again, Bring it all the way across to about opposite the sun, which is probably 1 or 2 slits over from where you went in last time. Put it into the slit, and then just keep going around, and you're just going to keep repeating this all the way around the sun. I'm going to pull out some of this so that I have lots of loose string to work with, and I don't have to keep pulling a bit at a time. And I'm just going to keep wrapping.
Your final product should look something like this. For this craft, you will need
a large piece of paper and yellow paint. You may also want a paintbrush, but that is optional. Just a warning, this craft will get messy, so you're going to want to make sure there's a cloth or paper towel or a sink right near you that you can get to without touching anything else to clean up. The first step of this craft is going to be to cover your hand in paint. Now, whether you do that by painting it on with a paintbrush or pouring some out and dipping in it, that's fine, but you want to get that whole hand covered in paint because we're going to use our hand to make the pattern on the paper. And you want to make sure that it's really covered, so if it's thin, you can add a little bit more. Then, once your hand is covered, you're going to go and you're going to place near the edge of the paper a handprint. And from there, you're just going to do handprints all the way around in a circle. If you notice that your handprints are starting to have a little less paint, you may need to put more paint on your hand again. And now you've turned your messy hands into a beautiful sunshine painting.
Your final product should look something like this. I hope you enjoyed making this week's crafts, and I'm looking forward to see what yours look like. If you made one of the crafts shown in our tutorials, send us a picture at our email, misquahcrafts@gmail.com, and we can feature it in one of our videos.